I was live on the air when the governor's first tweet went out basically announcing that this had happened.
It was clear almost immediately that no one was prepared for something like that to happen.
We take water for granted. We're rarely under water stress in terms of water quantity stress.
We'd confirmed that yes, this came from the governor's office and it is a do not use order.
We just have so much water, and that water has a dilution value to it, so it dilutes our pollution.
I think from an economic standpoint, there were so many people that couldn't go out and afford to go get a hotel room, couldn't afford to go drive 30, 40, 50 miles to another place to take a shower, to do their laundry, to do the necessities with water.
We need to let people know we've just received this information from the governor's office. It's a do not use the water order for a number of counties in our viewing area.
The less we protect, the more dependent we become on a very, very scarce resource, and the more vulnerable then we are to spills like this.
This event started on Twitter with Governor Earl Ray Tomlin's initial tweet a little after 5:30 that day. And it became a Twitter event. It became a social media event.
It's impossible to imagine what that situation would have been like without social media, especially Twitter. I mean, I think we jumped in following by the hundreds as the days went on.
If residents in these areas aren't aware of it, or if it doesn't become part of what they're conscious of, it has less value.
I was lucky. I had water. But that meant I was sort of ground zero for people who needed showers, who needed to fill up water bottles, for people who just kind of wanted a place where they could get away from the no water situation wherever they were and feel a sense of normalcy for a little bit.
It was a matter of necessity, though. It had been days, and it's not like I could jump in the car and just drive away out of town to go find some water to use.
Again, scientists are not exceptionally good communicators. We learn to communicate with scientists, which is great, very huge, very important in terms of driving science forward. Scientists communicate with each other and keep pushing each other forward as we make discoveries. But when we make that transition and try to communicate that information that we know is very valuable to the public, it can be difficult because we're not trained in those communication.
You know, journalists aren't scientists necessarily. You know, we take what they say and try to distill it down, which is oftentimes really, really difficult work. It was difficult work during the chemical spill in Charleston. It's a challenge with this project with the riffles and the sensors, the Streamlab project.
Communicating science can be difficult because you don't fully understand the science in order to communicate it. And that's a huge part of it. So there's this barrier that often exists.
So we didn't have a lot of information from the scientific community to start with to know, what are the effects? What are the potential hazards? What should we be telling people? And not just as media, but what should the Department of Public Health be telling people? What should the water company be telling people? And so there was a scrambling at the beginning to just gather information to share. And I think that really sort of set the ball rolling for additional confusion and problems down the line.
That as media experts begin to do science, begin to understand the science, and their ability to communicate that science increases, regardless of the value of the science.
It's Charleston, West Virginia, right? What does someone in New York City care about what happens in Charleston? Maybe not much. But if something like this would have happened in New York City, the entire world would have been paying attention to it. And they would have been hungry for every detail.
Charleston and the surrounding areas, it's not at the forefront of everyone's mind anymore, but I do think that it's in the back of everyone's mind every day. And I think it's going to be in the back of everyone's mind for a long time.